Guys, so please enjoy it. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red red once bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
They were all singers. So you guys are a little bit down, so if you want to go in the back and we'll call you up in a second. Okay, Lord, I would like to recommend the agenda as is.
Second.
Motion second, all members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Welcome to everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for visiting. Weather's got us on our heels, I think. Nonetheless, thank you for showing up this evening. I know an obstacle. At this time, we would like to take a moment to pause and honor the students from Wyoming High School that recently passed away. So if you would please stand with me in a moment of silence and remembrance of the Navy staff, Malachi Aguilar Ramsey, Christopher Pearson. I got here that. So we'll just take a moment of silence. I'd also like to acknowledge, no official capacity, but I believe Barbara West has also passed away, and that she's always been a strong supporter of our district. I think just a great contributor to our Big Pink program, and I think she just made that extra special, so we also just offer our condolences to her family. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Moving on to approval of minutes.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend that you approve the minutes from the January 17th, 2023 board meeting.
So, recommendation from Superintendent Salazar to approve the draft of the regular meeting minutes from January 17th, 2023. Any questions? If there are no questions, I will need a motion for approval. I'll make a second. So we have a motion and a second. All members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Thank you all. Moving on to citizen comments.
So we have two citizen comments. Ms. Chris Hariho, Kate Gray's recognition.
I'd like to save mine for another time and yield my time to Mr. Sullivan.
Tom Sullivan, Taft Edgewood Resolution 2022-14 versus MESD. Go ahead, sir. Please state your name and your address and go ahead.
Okay, that is Tom Sullivan. I'm currently residing at 800 Cuba Drive, Albuquerque. I'm leaving Mexico. It's been 3 months since I was last here. I spent some recent Tuesday attending Edgewood Town Commission meetings, attempting to correct what I thought was some misinformation, but unfortunately I haven't gotten very one reception. You might remember I sent you and Mayor a letter on January 17th indicating that I intended to research the origin of the town of Edgewood's resolution 2022-14. I had a particular interest in item 2, which I had personally identified, and apparently accused of some broken promises. So I have done that, and I brought a copy of it. I have 6 copies, 5 for board members. I don't know who else you get them.
We'll give it to Ms. England.
You can share it with your board members. That auspicious document also suggested that the District 2 has been involved in, I don't know, some quid pro quo arrangements with the town, I guess, during the closure decision of the Edgewood Elementary School in 2013, which I found somewhat ludicrous. Anyway, I'm here to report what I found through that research, so I hope you'll indulge me with a couple of minutes of your time this evening. Like I said, I brought a handout of the resolution. It's an old highlighted version. Just a reminder for you, I don't know how carefully you guys got rid of the rest. And I also brought a timeline of events that I thought you might find interesting, since they tied the district into this somewhat inextricably. I split the page. You've got some town of Edgewood stuff and then MESD stuff on the right-hand side. Your stuff goes back to 2013 when you voted. And you see that you also did some stuff from 2017. We entered into a lease for this, the North Building. I was thinking this because I'm over there lately. That was with Mayor John Bassett. There was nothing going on at Edgewood. In fact, we had no conversations with anybody. That's one of the handouts there. There was something turned in by the town during one of their usage of that resolution. I think it was at the PSCRC meeting, but they left something out. They thought they were quoting something from your minutes from 2013, but they left something out. They left out an important part. They left out the term "no conversations." Apparently they weren't interested in the building at that time. They were too busy arguing about not closing it all still. But they got excited again back in, when I started looking for information about the resolution, I started looking back a ways because I thought they would have had conversations leading up to it. They hadn't. But I found that they started talking about ideas for the use of the building in April. Seemed odd because that was 3.5 years later than when we closed it. But then it started getting exciting. April 19th, you could see they requested a joint meeting with you guys. That was the same day you wanted to close it, so a little late for that. But then they had a special meeting a couple of weeks later, not even 10 days later. Special meeting, and it was about litigation. Then they had litigation again on a June 7th agenda, June 14th agenda. June 28th is when they popped up with this resolution.
About 30 seconds, sir.
Okay, well, I got 2 more minutes, I think, from Ms. Armia.
Was it? No, that was both.
That was 4? Oh, geez, I thought you were counting me for my introduction. I was just telling you why I came back. Well, you don't have to.
I can give you about another 25 seconds.
Well, okay, anyway, it must be a pinky promise, because you guys know that I can't promise anything as your superintendent. It takes 3 votes of the board. But, you know, all I'm telling you is that it looks to me like, unfortunately, I do believe that Mayor Hararino deframed me, perhaps intentionally, perhaps with assistance. And apparently, being an elected official provides with asbestos underwear. This is one forum I can fight back in, I guess. And you guys should be upset too. I don't know. They made stuff up. And they presented it in other forums even.
Thank you for
While a whole bunch of people signed petitions. That's what they've done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was 2.
And that was it.
You want,
Thank you.
award, student and staff recognition, and required
Mr. Adams, do you want to introduce your fire director and
Absolutely.
your kiddos? And you need to move that over, we don't do that until a little bit later in the meeting.
Mr. President, members of the board, as you've already seen, we are the messengers here tonight under the direction of Adriana Aragon.
Yeah, Aragon, you can say Aragon.
I want to say it right.
Yeah, Aragon is good, yeah. Oh,
And the All-State Messenger Choir.
yeah, these 11 students, we only have 10 of us tonight, are the representation of the Moriarty Edwards School District for the All-State Choir this year. These kids went through about 3 months of rigorous preparation and rehearsals to do their audition for the college professors and then made it into the All-State Choir. Once they made it in, they then had to prepare their entire summer break. With me at school, I always feel so bad they have to use all of their breaks to stand with me, but they then had to individually learn 6 songs in a different language to then re-audition. And then show up in January, the second day of school, to spend a week at UNM to perform with what we like to say the best of the best of Mexico. So that is these peeps here. We have senior Danny Wallag, freshman Caitlin Huser, sophomore Sienna Rios, senior Clara Morgan, freshman Antoinette Smith, junior Kyliana Trevino, sophomore Sophia Rodriguez, who also was chosen to be the soloist at All-State this year for the German piece. So she got to perform alone in Pope Troy Hall for this piece, which was really awesome. We have freshman Riley Booth, freshman Thomas Dolce, and junior Randy Vargas.
Awesome, congratulations. We expect to see you here every year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Senior. Who's your senior?
We have a couple of them. We have Danny Wallach here. We have Clara Morgan.
I must not been listening.
Yeah, and then Cheyenne James is not here.
So what are you guys doing next? Anybody going?
Yeah, so we have our music performance assessment at the end of March. We have the state competition the first week of April, and then we have Acapella Fest the third week of April.
Oh, very cool. Okay, please make sure that we have those dates because
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you for doing the national
One
anthem.
question. This whole is, what's the real ranking?
Yes, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening, guys.
Thank you.
That's great. We have young kids too coming up, so it's very exciting.
So, do you have any student council representative?
We do. I have Alex Porter here. Olivia, you want to go?
Thank you very much.
Hi. Hi. Good update here for what is happening. So we recently had the memorial for the boys that our senior class wanted to give a gift to our underclassmen because we understand what it's like to go through that in our classroom period. So we because of this we moved Sweetheart Week to the 15th to the 17th in March, the week before spring break. And I wanted to tell you guys the days. Monday's Hat Day, Tuesday Dress to Impress, Wednesday's Twin Day, and Thursday is Cartoon Day, and Friday is St. Patrick's Day, so we made it Spirit Day. We also have the Senior Sunset coming up in the week May to 17th. Just I'm excited for that. And then recently, wrestling went to state. They had 4 places. They had John Valdez, he was 2nd place, and 133. We had Lily Means, 4th place, and 144. We have Jolie Tavish, who was 5th place, 100, and Lily Gal, both going 5th place at 185. We recently had the girls reach the semifinals. They just played Powhatan this past week. They won 42-16, which was great. So they determined to play through the semifinals. It was either Taos or Espanola, but more than likely Espanola. So we'll take them. We'll pick them. But that's all I have for you guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And so just for, if you don't remember that at the beginning of the year they had the sunrise for the seniors, on the first day of school, so sunset, last day.
It's one of the like free periods that we have like ceremonies. And I know we have like a award ceremony we're doing right after that.
Okay. Yeah, so seniors, and we've got some senior parents, so it's gonna like be teary-eyed, so. Thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
it.
I will often say that you don't have to stick around if you don't want to. You guys, we always assume you have homework and.
And that you're gonna go home and do it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Presentation.
Yes, and we have handout. So, Mr. Goodman, you gotta do a lot to outdo those two.
Well-
There's no way.
I'm gonna try, but I'm also gonna try to keep it short, because I appreciate that you all got me to come, even though I was sick last month, and this is not a great month for you all, and I appreciate that Patty told me to actually come, and so I'm gonna try to keep it short, and I'm gonna stop saying that I'm gonna keep it short, so that I don't have to worry about it, but, we do, so you have a coverage maps, and you can see that pretty much almost all of Moriarty's school district is in a coverage map, in our coverage area, and there's some other information there too, which you can look at. We've started with, doing started with high school football back in the fall. On 102.1 KEMR or eastmountainradio.com if you have a tin roof. Some people just don't get it through the tin roof, so, including me. But we started with, we did, like I said, we've done football and we've done some basketball this year now too, and hoping to do some baseball and softball as well. And so what we are hoping to do also, and we've covered some news, we've covered some meetings, and of course Ms. Salazar was on. It wasn't unfortunate that you were on, but it was an unfortunate circumstance that put you on. And so, but we have covered, that's what radio stations do, we're media, we cover meetings, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that we'll do that if we need to. And we've talked, we have a community calendar, so I've been announcing the 10 of all strong scholarships and other events, and yet the truck raffle as well. And when Performing Arts Center starts gearing up, or when I know about it at least, when there's events there, then I'll start putting that on if we need. And I'm the one that's in charge here, so I need to get hold of whoever's with community outreach or media or whatever. Stay on track of that. But what we'd like to do is expand our coverage a little bit more. And there's a lot of other things that we could talk about. Employment is one. Student accomplishments, as the messengers were right tonight, and Honor Civics and National History Day, school lunch program. There's a lot of things, and I have a list that's 5 miles long, but I don't want to go that long. So anyway, though, I want to turn this over to my coworker, Felicia Acuna Verhej, which I finally got it pronounced right.
Yeah, so Jim and I work together. I know Jim is very connected in the community. And so my role alongside Jim would be to make sure that our messaging is clear. I know a big thing is the sports, and that's something even in Albuquerque, there's a lot of businesses that are very interested in doing things of that nature, where it's like sponsorships or just coming in and being a part of the school district in that way. So another really cool thing with us is we can be very creative, so it doesn't just have to be with sports. We can cover all sorts of things like Jim had mentioned. But I would be doing more of the inner works of things within production and within the radio center. And then Jim would be more of the on-air talent. So we would be a team.
Talent's not really.
But we would be a team, and it would be a team effort in making sure that our services provided are excellent and efficient, and just continuing to build on what has already been established.
That's very exciting. I came from a small town that had one radio station, and every Monday morning was the school section. So from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, it was school. So there was always a principal there or somebody talking about what was going on in school. So, even if it's not that often, it's kind of like, I think it would be a great thing to advertise, and so the principals in the district will be sharing what's going on, is celebrating the great things, and if it was on a regular basis, then parents would know, I know to tune in at this time on this day, and maybe they'll just leave it on that station because they're getting all the good information. So maybe we could talk about some kind of program like that. So,
Right, that sounds great.
If you all stream as well,
Yeah.
you have online
Yeah, that's
streaming.
what the eastmountainradio.com, that's the live stream.
So you go from there and there's a link to be able to stream.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you click on that, there's a link, and all that you have to do is click on the play button,
Okay.
and it just adjust your volume.
great. Any other questions?
Do you guys have a tin can?
And I guess I should have said, though, where our antennas are. So we also have an AM station, which only plays during the day, though. 1080 AM is broadcast out of the 203 exit over there. It's up on the hill over there. Our FM station is broadcast from the top of the mountain of the Sandia Peak. Of course, all the other antennas face the city, but ours faces this way.
Yeah.
That's just a big, quick thing.
And we do appreciate you getting our names out there because I know it does help people that don't want to travel or weather or can't travel, so thank you for that.
Right, right. And we do sometimes. We've traveled to a few games out of town. We went to Bloomfield for the playoff game. We went to Milwaukee. We've been to a few places.
Sometimes we feel like the Waltons.
I believe all of the schools have after-school activities in. I was looking at some of the reports and it seems like a lot. How late does it go usually? 5:30.
And so then we have Saturday morning activities.
I saw that.
And so everybody kind of, depending on what the activity is.
I think they were playing basketball.
Yes.
And Dr. Harrison's not here now, but her report was very detailed.
Yeah.
If you follow the links, it really gives you kind of an inside view to their process, how they evaluate their 90-day plans and the PLC process. So if you were here, I would be thanking her for the detail in that report, because it does give us kind of sort of holds our hand through that process so that we understand it. And then at some point, I'll either ask you or Ms. Kelton I'm very interested in the chart that you presented in yours. I don't have to explain it now because I think it probably would require a little more lengthy. I know it was partially presented tonight, and so I kind of want to go through that again. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around a few.
It's a lot.
It was a lot, yeah. You can tell, and I didn't want to try to make it happen in 5 minutes. So, but I may have further questions on that presentation or the data chart you provided in your principal report. So I'll be following up on that. So.
And I would just like to again say thank you. I just appreciate the reports that you give us. They're so encouraging and in-depth, and you're doing a great job with our kiddos. So thank you.
Something?
Big.
No other comments, questions? I think we'll move on to Board President and Board of Education. So you guys got anything you want to offer? Any information from the conference we attended? Any good takeaways?
A lot of information. Yeah, there was a lot of, there was some really good presenters this time. Good topics.
Good topic. It was very worthwhile, very educational.
I think the probably my biggest takeaway from that conference was the presentation by Charles Sallee from the Legislative Finance Committee, or he's the Deputy Director of LFC, and we often hear from our teachers, about data-driven instructions, and I don't know if you all picked it up, but it was sort of data-driven legislation. I mean, they're looking at data to see what works, what doesn't, and then, hopefully, through LFC and some of the other process, come up with these initiatives that work. And I think part of my biggest takeaway was the emphasis on consistency of teachers, consistency of administration. Make sure that we acknowledge the hard work that it takes to make that happen. While we deal, or while you all deal with your own teaching, so the principals, the other students. So I just want to make sure that I acknowledge that, and that we offer a huge amount of thanks to everyone involved in making that happen. And then I think can't really move forward too much on the agenda without acknowledging your retirement plans.
We gotta talk about it, guys. No one wants to talk about it but me.
It's sort of a sock in the gut. Nonetheless, I just want to acknowledge it. I think we still have some time ahead of us to get some good things done, to definitely tap into your expertise. Since your superintendentship, we have some goals, we have some plans, and never in a million years did I think that a global pandemic would be part of it, and the loss of 5 students. You're just never trained for this. You're never prepared for those types of obstacles. And so, I definitely appreciate all your hard work that you have given to us thus far, and we expect you to have a great follow-up here. So.
Thank you very much.
And I just didn't want to not acknowledge that.
Thank you very much. It's, I'll be completing my 34th year, and 14 of it in this district. I've felt more connected and more involved and have closer friendships than even the 40 years I spent in my hometown. I love these people. They're amazing. And I promised Charles that I was not going to cry tonight. I'll cry another night. So, but I'm very excited about, my husband's been retired for 10 years, and so he keeps sending me those pictures of him on the ski slopes as I'm in the middle of something, and it's like, so yeah, I'm going to spend some time with my husband and my grandkids, free of all the other things that go on during this 24/7 job. So I'm very excited about that, but I'm going to be very sad about leaving. But I'll be here because I've got grandkids in the district and going through, and kids teaching in the district. So these are my peeps. So I love you guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments? If there are none, I think we'll continue.
So something that I did not get on the agenda, but it's part of my board update, is that we're going to have the bond sale update. So Mr. Viviano, if you'll just join the meeting. This is going to be Kaylee from RBC. We've got so many acronyms. And it's going to give you an update on our bond sales. I believe that you have in your packet a handout, and if she cannot join through the Google Meet, we are going to call her, because sometimes their firewall in their office, it worked earlier today, but she said that she was going to join about 7, so you may want to give her a holler and see if that'll work. And while we're working on that, I will give you the update on the demo for NHS East Complex. So we are working with PSFA now, and that's the barbell building at the high school. Anything that you have the state involved in takes a little bit longer. So we, I think, have all of our ducks in a row for that, and we are going to be moving forward. PSFA is actually working directly with the contractor, and what we're looking at is probably a June As soon as school's out, we'll start that project, just to not disrupt the transportation buses. But if we need to get it done sooner than that, then we'll, work with them. So as soon as we get all the paperwork, so just an update on that.
Yeah, refresh because I think
Hey, Todd, you may want to scoot it down just a little bit, angle it so that, she can also see. There you go.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, Betty, can you turn that? Yeah. You're coughing in 12D. Kaylee, sorry about that. Thank you very much.
Is everyone able to hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. So I will go ahead and start to share my screen here. So in front of you should be a pricing thing. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Well, thank you, good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is Keith Wagner, Search Department of Capital Markets. I'm just here tonight to give a brief overview of how the district responds to it. So on my first page here, I just have a issue summary. The district sold $3.5 million, and we set the rates back on January 30th. The closing date is set to be toward the end of March. So the maturities will be from 2023 until 2032. And we'll have an optional call date of 10 years. So the TIC came in at 1.6%. We're very pleased with these results. We feel that we got into the market at a pretty good time. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen interest rates drastically rise. You know, the 10-year is around 3.9% right now. So we're very satisfied with 1.6%. That TIC brings the total interest amount to $109,000 for the total repayment of the bonds refund. So on this page here, we have the TIC of the previous bond sale for the district. Like I mentioned, this bond sale came at 1.65%. Here we have the entire payment schedule of the bonds. So the district did receive disadvantage funding. They received $350,000 of disadvantage funding at 0%. So you can see at the bottom there that, you know, after 2030, the district no longer pays interest because the coupons that were settled at 0% for that disadvantage funding. You know, I do have a market update in the back over there. I'll stop and see if anyone has any questions regarding the sale.
I do just have to say that we are very excited about the interest, the 1.6 versus a 3.9. That is huge.
Yeah, we're very pleased with the results here. And then again, congratulations to the district on the successful bond sale. School closed end of March and the funds will be available for the district.
Okay, great.
Well, if there are no questions, again, congratulations to the district on the successful sale. If you have any follow-up questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us for any reason at all. And as always, we'll keep in touch.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We appreciate you.
No worries. Well, have a great night, guys. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
so
you.
much.
The other item that I had on my superintendent's report, Ms. Romero, if you can pull up, we received, and actually Mr. Armijo received a correspondence from the New Mexico DOT about their 23-24 local government road program request, which a lot of districts don't know about. So we've heard rumblings about it, but we've never actually seen the application, etc. So basically what this does is that you submit projects and the DOT funds 75% of it and the district matches 25% of it. So we've identified 6 projects that we would like to submit. In our perfect world, we would get them all 6 approved, but we will take any, 1 or 6. So our first one, and we kind of believe that this may have what kind of started the process of getting this. We had some parents from South Mountain that are concerned with the speed of the traffic on 344. We do have solid just signs that say school zone and say what the speed limit is, which is 15 miles per hour during certain times. But they feel that the flashing lights would be more appropriate, so that's one of the first projects, our first priority in doing that. So you can see where on the map where that would be located. Actually, no, that's priority 2. Oh, I didn't put the map on that one. So basically, it's whatever the designation of whatever school zone is, and they would be solar, and so they would recharge, and there wouldn't be any electric or anything that would have to be put in, so that would be helpful. So that's our first project. Our second project is the Moretti High School East parking lot, the bus entrance. So probably better known as the ag parking lot and the road for the bus. As you all know, anybody that's driven back there, it's pothole after pothole after pothole.
I think it's just one giant pothole.
Yeah, that's that. And then it's dirt from for the bus lane that goes back there. So that's our priority 2 that we have on there. Priority 3 is the Moretti High School visitors parking lot, so where the students park, as well as bus drop off and pickup. This one is a little bit more detailed because we had already had this one bid earlier in the fall because it needs to be done regardless with all that's going on. You can see it's an old Google map because it has the old annex building that has been torn down in the old gym. So that's our priority 3. Priority 4 is our Edgewood Middle School parent access and student pickup and drop off. Currently, it is much improved of what it has been in the past. It is a nice gravel road, but we are wanting to chip seal that and then put in a couple of speed bumps because that could be a great just speed through there. But I think that every single student that does not ride a bus, their parents go through that. So I really think it would help the pick up and drop off for that. Priority 5 is the, what is that? Oh, it's Central. So there's the really bad piece of Central between Moretti Middle School and Moretti High School, I guess that the district owns, and it connects to the city street of Central. And so Center, sorry. Central's in Albuquerque, right? So that's not our. So we would be asking for funding to repave that and put in the speed bumps. They've done a really good job, the city has, of redoing that up to that, those ends, and you can really tell where their stops and ours begins. So I don't think I really understand why it's ours, and they don't just go ahead and go through, but whatever. And so we need, that's the priority. And then the last is the parking lot at South Mountain that is visitor parking, teacher parking, as well as parent drop-off and pickup. So they go around that area, and it gets, there's several large puddling areas there. They actually double lane it on both sides, so they use the space very creatively, but it really needs some work on that. So we have about 10 other projects that we need to do, but these were our top 6 priorities. So we will be sending that in by the end of the week. I think March 15th or 25th. Kind of 5 minutes. So it's either the 15th or the 25th is the due date. So we're going to go ahead and get those in now and hopefully get those projects started. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. So
It's a non-recurring, so I mean, it's a one-time award, and we may not get it on the first try, but they encourage you to, for districts to just continue to try, but I think that it was worth doing because it helped us identify some of the costs for those projects so that the district can actually prioritize those. What we can't get done through the help of the DOT, we might be able to reprioritize and move forward, especially as we move forward with the FMP. So.
Correct. And we also have a couple of other projects, I think, that are bid, the parking lot outside in the strip, the dirt road right outside here, in front between the high school, at the between the visitors parking and the pack. There another one that was, I can't remember what there was another one. But so we do have some other projects that we haven't had bid. One of the things, if all of those projects are approved, our 25% is a little less than $250,000, which Antoinette and I are like, yes, sign us up. So, yeah, so those projects get very expensive. So, and other than that, I think that's all I have, Mr. President.
Mr. Nelson, I think we'll move on to Director of Learning Services for
Yeah, I already talked about that while you guys were working on the technology. It's happening, but it's slow.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Salazar, what I just handed you is are the updated numbers from our 120-day count. And the most important thing to look at on this very confusing sheet is the green text at the bottom that says we are up 45.9. It's always great when we have a 0.9 of a kid, but 45.9 students from this time last year. So that is great. We're still going up, and we're holding strong, and so that will be very good when we look at our funded numbers for upcoming.
So, and one of the things, besides the increase in the unit value, we also got growth units. So the $500,000 that we received is part of that. That is part of the bars. Is that correct? The bars that we're doing tonight. So, the growth definitely makes a difference. Very exciting, going in the right direction. And you can see the numbers that we had. 2 or 3 classes that were down in 150s, 160s, but we're back up to 170 to 175 kids is about where we're at for every grade level. So that's a good, nice, stable number that we've had over the last several years, and moving up in the younger grades. So that's exciting.
And when moving up sooner than we were told that they had the
We were still supposed to be declining up into this year, and then we were the new FMP, so, but this year was, still losing numbers. So the last 2 years, we gained numbers instead of lost numbers, so.
I believe it had a lot to do with COVID.
Yeah.
People wanting to move out of the cities instead of living in the cities.
I think that's more goal. People want to move up to the city.
Yeah, it kind of goes in ebbs and flows, you know, everybody wanted to be in town because they wanted to be close to all the stuff, and everyone's like, now we want to be out of town, away from the crime and all those people and the traffic, and so it's kind of an ebbs and flows thing, so, hopefully, we'll continue in that direction. Yeah. And Ms. Romero will stand for any other questions on her board report.
I think you did good.
Any questions, Ms. Romero? Thank you so much. I know we should be making a bigger deal about a green number.
You're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, it's a knock on wood there. That it's always encouraging to see that from the decades of declining loans, so it's nice to see the uptick.
Right.
It's coming.
Yeah. That is. Alright, we're good, and I think we can move on to business.
Mr. President, members of the board, I would like to, real quick, before I recommend the consent agenda, on the purchases over $20,000 on the Cooperative Education Service PR for 1784. That's the Route 66 kindergarten playground. Dr. Harrison has been asking for an upgrade on that playground for quite a while. It's small, it's got a kind of a garage carport canopy, rocks that don't meet the fall depth, and so they actually received a $18,000 donation earlier in the year, and so that $18,000 is going to go towards, it was designated for the kindergarten playground, so we're going to support that and finish up that project. So this is to put artificial turf in that with the correct amount of fall padding in it, a new canopy, and extending it probably, I wish she was here, she would know, maybe 10 feet. So it's going to make it significantly larger. So they're very excited about that. So I just wanted to point that out specifically, and I'd like to recommend the consent agenda items 1 through 4.
I have a recommendation from Superintendent Salazar to approve consent agenda items 1 through 4. Do we have any additional questions?
I just wanted to ask on the internal budget adjustment request. You're just moving money, zeroing out counts.
Mr. President, members of the board, yes. We had some lines that were negative, so we got to move from, salaries to supplies and materials and vice versa to get all that stuff cleaned up. Preschool has done a really good job of spending all their money this year. Usually we're at the last minute trying to get it all spent, but they've done a really good job to spend it throughout the year this year, so we're trying to make sure we spend. That's one that if we lose it, if we don't use it, we lose it. So we're trying to move this penny from here to here so we can spend it on this line instead of letting it leave.
All right, so if there's no further questions, I'll need a motion for approval of consent agenda items 1 through 4.
Absolutely.
Second?
I'll second.
All members in favor say aye.
Aye. And I hope to be bringing a request and approval for a purchase order for the South Mountain outdoor classroom. They haven't gotten a bid in to us yet, so hopefully we'll be bringing that in March. And we did get we'll get the PO together for the Edgewood Middle School outdoor classroom going. So and we should have that completed by the end of fiscal year of June 30th, because that's grant funding that from DOH that we're going to be utilizing that funding from. So just kind of a side note on that.
Very much. move on to action item.
Yes. So, we went out, for RFP for our facility master plan. Since it's over $60,000, we had to, go through the whole process, work with PSFA, in their, project, advertise. We had one company, respond to that, Capital AE. PSFA went through and they met the criteria. The final deliveries that will come of that is facility condition assessment, educational adequacy assessment, enrollment and historical projections, capacity and utilization of the schools, community engagement, survey and interviews from staff, community members, et cetera, capital improvement plans, and then facility options, opening and closing of schools. So they'll go through that and provide that for us. It usually takes about 3 months, is that correct? That we'll have it by this summertime. It's,
Yes, but looking at their timeline, they have it laid out for like a whole year, I guess. So I don't know if they're more thorough or they just do it.
we only do one every 5 years, so, but whatever they're doing, they're meeting the timeline of PSFA, which we kind of have to go by. One of the things, they anticipate being on site for 2 to 3 weeks, and then the gentleman that is going to be in charge of ours, he is a licensed mechanical engineer with an emphasis in HVAC, and that is something that we have had lots of conversations about. We are concerned about some of our aging out HVAC. We're concerned about some of the maintenance that we've had from different companies over the last several years, as well as what the MERV 13 filters, and how that's affected their efficiency. So we're anxious to see what that looks like with our HVAC. I think that Route 66 still has the original HVAC units on it. We have MES and South Mountain have a portion of the high school MES or MMS, kind of crazy, but we've had to redo a bunch of them. Even when they built the building, they used basically older units on it. And it's like, so that's a whole kind of sticks the implement nice problem.
The thing of it is that even the new units at the high school, the gym and all that, have been going out.
Yes.
Quicker than what I thought they would.
Yes.
They won't last about a year.
It is,
All the technology that they have on them now, they will last.
it is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That we're having issues with at the gym.
So
Is that what it is? It's 30-year-old goals.
See, that's what I mean, the technology.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully there will be lots of good information coming out of that. So it is my recommendation that you approve the RFP 81-23-02 for facility master plan, the FMP, which is capital AE.
So the recommendation from Superintendent Salazar to approve the RFP 81-23-02 for FMP, the facility master planning, being awarded to capital AP. Any questions? If there are no questions, then I'll need a motion for approval.
So
A second. Motion and a second. All members in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. That's exciting for me because it seems like that's just kind of drug on, kind of just later out there. So this is good.
The joy of working in state. Any project that they're a part of is a little bit longer.
Do you have anything for us? See through that?
No, we don't.
Shall move on to Director of Personnel Board Report. Try to catch up. Any questions for Mr. Young or?
How many vacancies do we have right now?
Two English?
Two English teachers at the high school.
What's going on in English? You lost two.
Remember that data?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Members of the board, Vice President, How's, we're not looking, bad at all. I'm pretty pleased. If it wasn't for those 2 teaching vacancies, we have 0 vacancies in teaching, 0 or 1 in educational assistant in our instructional staff. And even in our non-instructional staff, again, it's some of our ancillary. I listed some of them, but it's ongoing with ancillary, right? We are very excited and pleased that we have a new social worker that joined us, experienced social worker, a social worker that was working for us on a contract and decided to come back and work for us instead. So yeah, they did a great job with that. So that works out.
Okay. And you haven't gotten your surveys?
Surveys have been coming in, Vice President House, yes. I believe it was 200 and, what did I have at the time of the?
282.
Yeah, 282 at the time of my board report. There were 14 staff members that indicated they may not be returning. Definitely 4 of them are retiring. We got another retirement today though, so we can add to that. But there are some who indicated they put no, not coming back. However, we have 2 or 3 of them that they maybe want to have a conversation and see if whatever's going on or making a decision.
Well, they still have time, it's just a survey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And in the survey, they are notified that this is nothing official, resignation, retirement, unless they give us all the proper paperwork. There's still time to look at other situations if they're interested.
Have you put together any end of year dates
No, ma'am.
Did we hire, very quickly, did we hire someone for the registrar's position?
Yes, superintendent, we did, yes.
I knew that, but I didn't know if they'd accept.
Our high school registrar will be retiring, and as a team, with Mr. Adams and his staff as well, we looked at the situation of that position, the importance of that position, how in-depth it is as the high school registrar, and we put it out there, and they did interviews last week. There was a permission to hire, she accepted, and we'll be coming in tomorrow to do her paperwork, and she will start training as soon as we can get her here, hopefully Monday, to start training,
Yeah, so that'll help with the transition of kind of getting through the registration from the paperwork at the beginning to the getting them all in the system, plus doing schedules, and so I think that's going to be huge. Because how long has Ms. Queen been in that position? Forever?
I don't know, it was 85, at least the last 12 or 13 years.
Yeah, 10 plus, I would say, yeah.
I think she's the only registrar I've known in the 14 years I've been here, so. Oh, Brenda, yes, I forgot, Brenda was here, yeah. Miles, come on, you should have told us that, you knew that answer.
You're welcome, thank you. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Support services.
I just have to, we can answer any questions that you have, but I really thank the transportation department and different people pitching in. Mr. Viviano's driven some roads, I've driven some roads. Mr. Viviano usually is kind of like, Teresa, you go ahead and stay, we'll just call you, because I have to put my makeup on. It's kind of like, so I can have it too, and it's kind of like, what am I, a rat? And somebody, it's kind of like, you have to have something with hair. So, but as you know, we had 2, I'm ready to retire. I always want to sleep all night on bad weather days, so it's kind of like, it doesn't matter. So we had 2 days last week, and actually the day that we didn't think was going to be that difficult of a day on Wednesday ended up being the worst day. At 4:35, we were like, we're all in, we're going to school. It was a half day, we prepared for remote since it's an early release. By about 4:55, Todd and Gary are conference calling me, and it's like, there's no way, you can't see anything, it's blowing snow. and it was the best decision we made. So I was laughing, I don't know if it was Natalie or Patty that told me that they were looking through the call log, and Gary sent out the message to the bus drivers. It's like, oops, just kidding, we're not going. So and I think that was definitely the right decision. But you know, it only ever snows in the middle of the night, in the morning, right? You know, when you need to be making the decision. So we try to do the best we can. But I want to thank them, as well as the remote day that we had. That was the day that Schoology had a what was their issue? They had a security, Chris? What was it?
Fast though. Their security certificate expired.
Oh, okay. So I forgot to renew it.
They got it fixed very quickly.
Yes.
It was a nationwide.
Yes, it was nationwide. It wasn't just us. So, but it was like really on all days. Our
an hour. Maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So, but I do want to thank everyone that pitches in for all of those times that we're doing. So,
I think it's a little, you know, I mean, it's always a conversation with parents. They're always, you know, you either made the right decision or you made the wrong decision. Or, you know, the one I get is back in the day, we would still just go. You know, that's not even snow. And, you know, I've tried to explain just how the different variables have changed. Our interstates have far more semis on them. I mean, they're semis like crazy. So our interstates was crazy, but you know, even our municipalities, the number of roads to be maintained has increased. It's not just your main connection. Right. So there's a lot of variables now that maybe didn't exist. And then I think the number of students that are driving or parents dropping off kids, it's something I think you're 100% correct that, you know, we appreciate everything that has been done and the hard work that does get put into it. But I think we may need to revisit that again and just kind of look at what can we do? What, you know, what parameters are we going to look at, and then how do we, you know, make decisions based on those? So, and then communicate it, I think, to families and parents. I think that's part of it too. Is whether we're going to go remote, whether we're going to, you know, just call it a snow day. I mean, because when we first started doing remotes, I got more complaints from parents about just close it, take your day off, you know, so than just about anything. So
right, and we're kind of all about that as well. We like to just close it, but we're kind of trying to prep our families depending on what happens in the legislature that we may not have any snow days built in. So as long as we do remote, that still counts as a school day. That doesn't have to be made up. And so we're kind of trying to work our parents and our kids into that. You know, our district is so unique in the sense that, you know, the back roads in Edgewood and, you know, to Frost, to 217, Mountain Valley, to Pines Corners, Stanley, you know, there may not be anything going on in Moriarty or in Edgewood, but all the back roads are horrendous. So those are, you know, things that we have to take into consideration. And we also are not split up in the sense that we can just cancel, okay, so it's really bad in Edgewood, so just cancel Edgewood and keep Moriarty schools open, because our kiddos and our teachers and, you know, have to drive, and, you know, teachers are crisscrossing, and so that's why we don't do just parts of the district, we do the whole thing.
It might be more confusing if you.
Yeah, which school, what day is, yeah, so
when I say big pessimisms, all their East Mountain schools are closed, everybody thinks it's.
Yes. That's right. Well, it was so good that Wednesday, even Rio Rancho, which never closes, it's kind of like, it must have been really bad over there. So and then APS did a 2-hour delay on that Wednesday, so.
Then, I was gonna ask about the propane buses. Do you think possibly, as we're talking about the roads, that they're struggling, the propane buses are struggling going across a lot of our dirt roads?
You know, Todd may be able to speak to this, but I think it's just more, again, technology, and new technology isn't.
We've
It's
ran
crap. I'm sorry.
All farmers run propane, and they never have
Yeah.
Stuff like that, just technology.
Like I said, I did ask that question, and you know, some of the bus drivers that have been around a while, they like that diesel power. And they said it doesn't have the oomph at times, just in general, right? But not to do any of the snow or anything like that, that it change drastically.
But the thing of it is, with that power, with it over the real wheels.
If you don't know how to drive.
Yes. See, so propane and gas, may be the best way to go with the diesel, because those diesels, they have too much torque to the rear tires. And it makes it difficult.
And I
That's a
think
great question.
that, you know, some of the electrical issues and stuff, again, I think it was just going through, when we bought those buses and, you know, the equipment that's in them, the chips, the, you know, parts, and we're seeing a lot of that, you know, causes us to.
It's like Charles said a while ago, the older our parents, us, older people. We've never bought a DOS driving through stuff like that. Things today are too soft.
Everything. I'm not gonna go there, Mr. Jeff.
I can say that, but it's true.
Well, I think the other issue is what we experience with our HVAC systems and nutrition. I mean, we could go on and on about the lack of a supply chain. So when you have a bus go down, it could be weeks, months before parts are available. So
Look at all the buses we have, generation.
Yeah.
You have all those safety buses, parked in our generation lane. So, that's.
Any other questions for tech, maintenance, or food service? Alright, there are no questions. Anyone? Got nothing at the board policy. Advanced planning.
So we have a couple of things that are advanced planning. We need to start looking at the 2023 Excellence in Student Achievement Awards for the School Board Association. If you'll recall, this is for staff members, community members that we award usually at a board meeting. So we need to be thinking about if you have any nominations for that. Looking at dates for board and administrators retreat. We're looking at, let me get my calendar real quick. We're looking at a, like a Sunday, Monday, or a Friday, Saturday, just so that people don't have to take 2 days off work. So we're looking at potentially June 11th and 12th, or June 16th and 17th. We'll have to, the 11th and 12th, we would only have to work with our elementary principals because they're off contract. If we did the 16th and 17th, it'd be the elementary and the, is it middle school and assistants? Is that correct? So either flex time or pay at their daily rate. So the 11th and 12th would be better, but the 16th and 17th would work as well. Or we can do 2 days in the middle of the week if you guys want to take off, because it's our job anyways. It's our job.
It wasn't me that asked for the.
Yeah. Well, we were trying to consider a Wendy. She's the one with the real job. So, as a boss. Yeah. So, yes, it's June. 13th to the 20th. Huh? 13th to the 20th with 11th and 12th.
Wendy.
No. Where's that push it?
I think brothers and sisters are worse than bosses.
Yeah, probably so. There's going to be some people out of town on the 9th and 10th. We can maybe do the 10th and 11th, do the weekend. Or I hate to do it on the 18th, 19th because that's Father's Day.
Well, and the first weekend in June is the law conference.
Right. And then Linda's going to be gone at a couple of graduations.
Yeah, anytime after the 7th though, I'm back. My granddaughter graduates on the 6th, but anytime after that is fine.
So kind of look at your calendar, send me some dates, and we'll. So 16th and 17th.
I don't have a calendar.
Yeah, 11th and 12th is
What's
not.
that? I don't have a calendar.
I'm not on holidays. Both of those.
I don't keep it,
Right.
I don't keep it in the calendar.
So I'll send that out to everybody so everybody can sit and really look at it. So I'll send those 2 days out, 2 days out and see if that works. The March board meeting is during spring break, so we would like to request that we move the March board meeting to the 14th, the Tuesday before that. If that works for everybody.
I have a board meeting.
You do, would you like to do it a different day?
What time do
The 6th. When I first started on the school board, they changed it for the 3rd, so I could get the school board and the
We could do the 15th or the 16th. I am getting my nails done on the 16th, but I could change that. She's already tired.
We can do the 15th.
We can do the 15th. The 15th. 15th would be okay. Okay, then we'll do the 15th. The 15th is a Wednesday. Yes. I do want you to put on your calendars, and if you can't be there, I understand that the potential ribbon cutting, March 23rd at 8 a.m. before the first baseball softball game. Is that correct, Mr. Joe? Do we have a potential time of day that you're wanting to do it? What time's the first game?
The first game starts at 9.
So maybe an 8:30 ribbon cutting?
Or, yeah, that'd be great.
So we're hopeful. We did lose a couple of days last week with weather, but they're out there. If you get around, drive by, they're getting the turf rolled out. So they're moving right along. Do you have any updates on that, Jess?
At our last meeting, they were hoping to be done by the 23rd. They said these delays might have pushed them back a couple of days, right?
Neither, we each had meetings, so we weren't there this Thursday, so, but I think that they're, they kind of, they work Saturday and Sunday, so.
That's what I was going to say, they work Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. So, they'll have to bus rocks tomorrow, but, and not use these, I'll check it, yeah, they'll take those other days down. That's done today. Yeah, it's kind of like, head out there, it's kind of like, go check it out.
And can we have time so that we can invite, the government entities?
Yes, we definitely will. I'm waiting until after the next, and we'll advertise it, and stuff, for the next construction meeting to make sure that it's, it's doable. Because they're definitely, now, lights may not be in at that time, just because, again, the difficulty of getting the parks and stuff, but all of our games are daytime games, so it's a softball, baseball, tournament that's, starting then, so that's pretty exciting. And I think that's all that I have on advanced planning, unless you guys have anything else.
Anybody else? Any recommendations? Changes, just reach out to the superintendent and myself and try to accommodate. Alright, close executive session. I will, I take a small break for bathroom break or something like that, but I recommend the board adjourn to close executive session as allowed under NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1, section H2, for confidential discussion related to limited personnel matters, specifically to discuss an internal candidate for new or interim superintendent. A motion to enter into executive session.
I move that the board adjourn to close executive session as allowed under NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1, H2 for confidential discussion related to limited personnel matters, specifically to discuss an internal candidate for new or interim superintendent.
I need a second.
A second.
There's a motion and a second. We'll put this to roll call vote, starting at the end.
Wendy Burns, I vote yes. Linda Hudson.
I will. Howard Chavez voted yes. I felt
Yes.
Charles Armijo, yes. All right, so we are now in executive session.
I'm gonna let you guys stay.
Come on, wait.
He's not too much chocolate. None.
Yeah. No,
All
no.
right. We are now reconvening into open session. The matters discussed in the closed executive session were limited to those specified in the motion for closure. No other topics were discussed and no other business matters were conducted, nor any action taken. So we are now back in open session. Moving on to our next order of, what was it? Oh, okay. Moving on to our next action item, the action regarding the internal candidate for new or interim superintendent. I'll entertain any kind of a motion.
I'd like to motion Todd Fabiano to be the superintendent starting July 1st.
All right, so we have a motion. I'll need a second.
I second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? None opposed? Congratulations.
Yay!
Look forward to continuing the good work, try to keep with a lot of our board goals and vision, just to keep moving the district forward, move past, try to put COVID to bed, just as move past what I would call a post-COVID era, just start getting back to the learning and academic achievements for the district, with all the other things that keep us going, from facilities to our staff, and then ultimately we just want to do right by kids. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is that we make decisions that are 100% for our children. So congratulations, and we look forward to working with you. So, with that,
So, Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend that we adjourn the meeting.
we have a recommendation by Superintendent Salazar for adjournment. I'll need a motion. We have a motion and a second. All members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.